Good morning everyone. Anpurna, Mahi, Menak, Khushbu, Harshita. Good morning everyone. So your doubts? One you asked about monocratic nature. Any other thing? Fine. So we'll continue where we were yesterday. Democracy. DROMO. Democracy. That's right. We need to actually promote. Basically, the idea of it, simple. I thought they have given some word which is Latin or Greek or something. Just trying to hear what it is. Anyway, so child, yesterday I think we left at some place like socialist and secular. No? That is right. So we will be understanding these two terms. Okay? And then we will be proceeding further in the characteristics, and then finally what we have to do today? Basic structure. That's right, basic structure. That is what we will be doing. So the term socialist, let's try to comprehend it. If someone says we are a socialist state, wrong. That's wrong. Because the term socialism also will have various orientations. One place will be where we will say the model like as Stalin talked about, okay, where state is going socialist and all the resources will be centralized. Planning nature will be of imperative. So first of all, understand it is more of an economic concept, that how the economics of the state will be organized. Okay, so the term socialism are more associated with the management of resources or management of economy in that state. Till the time we are studying them in polity, political science even, they will always refer to a system of polity which will have influence on its economy also. Some of you who may be from political science, you may have seen titles like political economy, okay, especially when we write commentary over Karl Marx, then the title of the books will be like political economy. देखा है ना बेटा title? नहीं देखा है, देखिए. So what is it? So when I understand, then I say, is India really a socialist state? Whether the resources are only centralized, purely centralized? Somebody may say, array, for that reason only Article 31A, First Amendment insertion was there. Then I will say, no, it was only for the big jamindars, big ones. So land reforms were to be carried out. So definitely their land was to be taken and distributed. So state is not keeping it. It is getting distributed. I am giving you the title. So in a pure socialist state, title will be with the state only. Planning nature will be purely centralized and highly imperative. No concept of indicative. Highly imperative. Right? All the resource decisions will be taken by the state only. Okay, this is one. Then someone will say, what type of socialism we are? Then I will use the term welfare socialism, where we say that let it be a mixed economy, whatever its nature may be, we ultimately should have welfare orientation. We ultimately should have welfare orientation. So India is an example of welfare socialism. Now, UPSC will be interested in asking from you that do you think on this aspect of socialist character, even welfare socialism, we have been pushed back with the coming up of LPG. do you think with the new economic policy arrival, the goals of socialism, socialist, or even what you say welfare socialism, they have been pushed to the back seat, and on the driving seat happens to be capitalism. And you will think, okay, privatization, liberalization, and globalization even, will they really mean that government will lose its angle of welfare? Not necessarily. And then you say that, sir, MG Narega like programs happened later, and what we used to have the total budget in 1990, 1989, we are having more than 100 times now on welfare measures. Okay, somebody will say, sir, गरीब आदमी क्या बांटेगा किसी? So the first thing is gain capital. अगर charity भी करनी है पहले कमाना पड़ेगा ना. Even if you want to have charity, the state need to have money. So LPG has nothing to do that a country will lose its welfare orientation. No, rather it can plan things in a better manner. Once you have money, then your intention will matter, no? Whether you only put that money on your own luxuries, or once you have money you can use it for the welfare of others also. That is what yesterday we also talked, when our young friend told us that, sir, percentage is going down, and then I said ultimately that percentage, because the pie, the cake is becoming bigger. The cake is becoming of bigger size. That is the issue. Earlier from 1 kg cake, now it is 100 kg cake. So its 10% will be also 10 kg. 50% of 1 kg was just 500 grams. So it is 20 times. I think we are understanding. So when they ask you, kids, they will always ask you that, do you think the current arrangement, because some political parties or opposition keep on saying, na, you are making only few people rich. So UPSC will not frame a question that only few people are made rich or not. They will ask you that this type of economic arrangement which we are having, will it hold good for the poor in India? And you will say, okay, poverty, 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 okay. Then you will say, sir, when from Tendulkar committee we moved to Rangarajan scheme, then sir, ultimately they said that we reduced it. So overall proportion in Rangarajan committee was more. When someone was saying 32 million, then we reached the idea that no, it is more, it is 39. But in the reduction, when we talked about through Tendulkar committee, we were seeing it was 8.1% reduction has been there in poverty, but with Rangarajan we saw it is 8.7. 8.7 is greater than 8.1, and that too, if it is of 39, so it will be a bigger value. So it means if I try to see it from various angles, nowhere we have lost the orientation of welfare. Okay, nowhere we have lost the orientation of welfare. Just add up the programs, na beta. Kaushal Vikas Yojana, any of the other things, Annapurna, whatever, just add up and you will see it is more than the entire budget what used to be earlier, when we were claiming to be purely or more oriented towards socialism. Then what used to be the total budget at that time, we are spending on schemes like these now. So it means if we have increased our size, so when I say that we will be a 5 trillion economy, don't you think even the poor of the country will be benefited? Because you can have then more money to spend on various schemes. You will have money to spend on infrastructure, and with infrastructure you can accelerate the process of economic development. You can provide subsidies for the industries, right beta? When I have, let's say we go in the GST collection of 2 lakh, more than 2 lakh crores per month, then I can easily give subsidies or tax holidays. Okay, I will say, okay, in Marathwada region, okay, Nanded, that area, Aurangabad of Maharashtra, it's very poor. So if anyone is of you from Maharashtra, you must be aware of it. That is having distress, economic distress is high. So Waluj is the industrial area there. You are aware of it? Acha, okay. So earlier also, sir, in 1980s we gave some subsidies, but they were not sufficient to really pick it up. Once again we can go ahead. Why only Mumbai and Pune should develop? Why not other areas should also develop? But businessmen will require, industrialists will require some sort of soaps, incentives. So one thing I will see connectivity, other thing I will see that it should be more profitable to me, and then government can say, okay, condition is 50% of your employees will be from Marathwada only, given. Instead of what item you are producing, what is the tax rate on that? Sir, 18%, fine, you give 8%, 10% given to you, and for next 7 years or 10 years. Who can think of it when you are having 2 lakh crores per month in GST? Then only you can dare to give it. When you yourself are not able to meet your ends, how can you think of any charity? So I think we are having the idea where UPSC will ask the question and how we need to proceed with it. You need not be a socialist polity for doing welfare or socialism. Orientation is important. Intention is important. If you have money, you can use it at several good places, and we have proved it. MG Narega is the largest poverty alleviation program in this entire globe. Yes, MG Narega, that is Narega only, correct. So we are having programs. Even the spendings on Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana was bigger than 6 to 7 North African countries' total expenditure on their food, welfare, medicines. Just one program I am talking. This is the size of your economy. Yes, ma'am. Looking like I am speaking from the side of our Prime Minister. No, looking like, but facts, I am talking of facts. Ji, ma'am. See, the idea is equitable. Beta, equal is never possible. Someone is working more, definitely will get more. Access, the question is of access. Access shall be equally available. What we need to operate is in context of access. There should not be barriers. There should not be restrictions. So we use the term beta, whenever we talk of economy, we use the term equity, samyata. Pure equality, how is it possible? Think of yourself only, you are working more, you are working harder. Okay? So why you should not be drawing more salary? then others who are not working. Equity should be there. Opportunity shall be for everyone. We are giving them equal opportunities. And if someone is still in such a condition that cannot reach there, suppose this is a person and there is a barrier. So what we will do is, we will try to provide entire one as well. Trying to show it only some part of it. This is the way I am creating. I am removing some hurdles so that this person can come. This person can come and reach here. My question is simply, they will ask you that though in the preamble you are boldly shouting the term socialist, but after going for LPG, new economic policy, still it is valid or now it has gone invalid? This is what they will ask you. Planning Commission. Niti Aayog is a student. Don't give the shock to the examiner. He will go to have a cup of coffee. That today I have the shock of my life. Correct terms. Niti Aayog beta has replaced Planning Commission. So that is different thing. At present we are only talking that on one side we are going for beta liberalization and privatization. Okay. It means, what is the meaning of these terms? Are you aware? Very good. Tell me. Tanya, you are right in your meaning. Yes, you continue. Elaborate. अच्छा, तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन हो जाए, सोच को रखो, फिर तब क्या बोलेंगे? ऑलवेज थिंक ऑफ आउटर कंपनी, सब्सिडीज, ये वर्ड में सुनना चाहता। करेक्ट। लिबरल का मतलब रिजीम, रूल्स रिजीम को नीचे लाना, बस उतना ही मतलब है। डोंट एंटर इनटू द अदर डोमेन। देन हाउ डू यू एक्सप्लेन प्राइवेटाइजेशन? The correct answer is like a right chord on the guitar. Otherwise it dong dong, but right will be music. Is it necessary? Is to do business is liberalization. I am asking you, sir, can you please clear this? Removing barriers and giving autonomy to private sector, Rashi Jain has written. Sir, our politics is just restricted to the interest of nation and people, but not of government. Allowing the private company with removing certain barriers. Pari, allowing where? Socialist से आइए ना, पहले pure socialist समझिए and then try to understand the term privatization and you will comprehend it. De-reserving. de-reserving the sectors which were exclusively reserved earlier for public enterprise only. That's all. De-reserving. Now, it may be a separate private company, but it's not necessary that I have to convert a public company into private company. It may happen. That is one way, but not necessarily. BSNL may continue. Okay. Earlier it was MTNL and something like this. That can continue. And what can continue? At the same time, Airtel can be there. So, these can grow up. So, that is the idea. Privatization simply means de-reservation of sectors. Okay. Opening up of various sectors of economy even for private enterprise. Okay. So, prima facie what it looks that with this idea capitalism will be on the driving seat and the idea of welfare and all other things will be on the back seat. And that is why opposition will always play this card. Easiest card to play in any country's politics. We have seen it happening in France also. In the last election, we have seen it happening even in France. So it's not, it is the easiest card. In the era of privatization, the easiest card is because masses will always be having lesser goods than what few others will be having. That is 100% to happen. But the question is this few, because poverty term is a relative term. We all are extremely poor. If we compare ourselves with Mr. Adani, Mr. Ambani, we are extremely poor. बेकार जी रहे हैं ऐसा लगता है. जी क्यों रहे हैं? लाख करोड़ की बात होती है यार, इससे छोटी बात ही नहीं होती है. They always talk of crores नहीं, लाख करोड़, 3 lakh crores, 4 lakh crores, 7 lakh crores. हाँ 100 करोड़ भी नहीं सोच पाते. ओके, इसी में गिनती करते रहते कि 1 + 1 अरे बड़ा बढ़िया. और वहां लाख करोड़ तो don't we have a feeling of extreme poverty? I don't know whether you experienced it or not. So, but are we living in bad condition? No, definitely not. So, this is the easiest card to play, always. Nowadays we have a middle class, a big size middle class. So, that also can always be asked that see you are not getting anything, only few people are getting. So, this is not India, it is throughout the world, right? Try to comprehend the terms for UPSC purpose, forget this politics, and then come with facts. This type of question should be answered, and the beauty of it is it can appear in your paper 2 beta, it can appear in your paper 3 as well. And paper 3 means not answering without data. Paper 2 means not answering without legislation, ARC recommendation, Supreme Court judgment or article. This is means we need to validate whatever we are saying. This is the difference, that's all. But when it is asked in paper 3, you will have to come out with data that in this year, in the budget, this much was kept for welfare schemes. Now in this year, this much is there. Because figures, they are the most valid things. उससे प्रूफ कुछ है ही नहीं. अगर आप कहते हैं सर पहले it was just 2000 crores, now on few programs it is crossing 80,000 crores. 2 और 80 पे तो बहुत बड़ा difference. You can easily validate your answer whatever stand you are. Correct? So that will be there. So these were, Harshita has said, yes sir, extreme poverty. Oh, you share the boat with me. Yes. Privatization does not promote equity. Why not? It can. Yes, it can. Why not? And if there is anything negative, then government can enter. Why you cannot mention of corporate social responsibility? In removing this type of hurdle which we always had in our thinking, that one side will be left people sitting and the other side will be pure capitalist sitting. अरे झगड़ा खत्म करते हैं भाई. We have to move. We have to continue. So let us do one thing. Let us call the companies and tell them you also have social responsibility. नाम दे दिया CSR. एक्ट में डाल दिया हमने in 2013 Companies Act. We included it. So don't you think to a great extent we actually are trying to refine out the friction points which were there between the objectives of masses and objectives of economy. ऐसे सोचा करो. पुरानी बातें हैं ये, छोड़ो कल की बातें, कल की बात पुरानी. So leave that debate that if we will promote privatization, we cannot think of welfare socialism. Leave it. The debate is, yes sir, बहुत पुरानी बात. It's an old story. And then give examples from your budget. CSR, talk about CSR. Sir, you were asking something, beta. Please ask. Huh? Okay, you got the answer. Fine. So now let's take another word. Secular. ये बड़ा use होता है. Okay. This is also something which we discuss a lot, talk a lot. What do you mean by secular? See friends, if I see its origin, then the term will be seen getting its birth in the West. Okay? In Germany, in France, and even earlier times in England also. The then England, at that time it was England only. People, the kings, everyone is of the opinion that church is trying to interfere too much. Okay? So yes, Tanya, you are right. So what is there? Let us separate it from the functioning of the state. So when we talk of the term secular or secularism, then the first meaning that comes to us is that a philosophy, a principle, an ideology in which religion, religious institutions are kept out of the state's functioning. It means state will not have any religion. One thing, state will not promote any religion. It will be indifferent to all, and for it, religion is purely a personal matter. Okay? Some of us definitely must have traveled to Europe. अभी समझो पहले, तब समझ में आए. Secularism is a big concept. In India, we see that state is providing. There was concept of bourgeois and proletarian. Priti, it is proletariat. These are German terms. Okay? It is not proletarian. Masses. Proletariat means the masses. Aam aadmi. The mango man. जर्मन टर्म है मैम, अब कार्ल मार्क्स ने यूज कर दिया तो कोई और भी कर सकता है, जैसे अंग्रेजी भाषा में मासेस कह सकते हैं. इट्स जस्ट अ जर्मन वर्ड. बट वी पीपल इन इंडिया ऑलवेज फील ग्रेट व्हेन वी स्पीक एनी अदर लैंग्वेज अदर देन एंड स्पेशली यूरोपियन. स्टेटस थोड़ा सा लगता है, कुछ बोला है. यस यस, वी सी इट. Suddenly people start speaking English. Here it is okay. We all are in a specific formal mode. So we need to communicate. Otherwise, take pride in whatever language you speak in speaking that. What's wrong in it? But suddenly people, when they have to impress someone, they start speaking in English. Okay? And if they know some other languages terms, they use in between so that the person who is knowing only English thinks he is more educated. Anyway, उसको भूलते हैं. ठीक है मैम? तो बस जर्मन वर्ड है और इससे कुछ नहीं है. इससे उनकी डिक्शनरी का मतलब क्या है? मैंगो मैन. ठीक है? ऑर्डिनरी. उसके इंटरेस्ट हमेशा पीछे जाएंगे. दैट इज द आइडिया. एनीवे, अब इसको हम वापस सेक्युलर पे आते हैं. सो दैट बेसिक आइडिया ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म इज दैट स्टेट शैल नॉट बी अलाउड टू इंटरफेयर. यहां से ओरिजिन हो रहा है. इवन इन फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन इट हैड इट्स इम्पैक्ट. ठीक है? Those who are from history must be aware, even in French Revolution it had its impact. That people were of the opinion that even king is not able to do that much influence who is having, church is having. तो जब ऐसी opinion बनेगी तो बच्चों क्या होगा? When such an opinion will be there, then what will be the general orientation? Keep this church away. So Western secularism is basically the idea that in the state affairs they will not recognize even the word religion or religious institution. Purely personal affair. I will give you a very easy example. In India, if you want a land for your religious institution, generally at subsidized rates it is provided. Okay? In most of the countries of Europe, why do you see that new churches are not there? When you travel through Europe, so they take you to the church. It was in 18th century, it is in 17th century. Here you can say, this is the temple we are constructing, this is the mosque we are constructing, even in 21st century. वहाँ कुछ नहीं है उनके पास. And if you will see any mosque or temple place, then it will be very small in size. Why? You have to purchase it at commercial land price. Why such a thing? Why such a thing? They say we don't recognize. Sorry. So, no special privileges in the name of it. Clear? Is it good? I will not say it is good or bad. No comments on it. I will come to my own. And I will use the term Sarva Dharma Sambhava. Sarva Dharma Sambhava. Bhav. B-H-A-V-A. Bhav. So, Indian secularism is basically considered to be positive idea of secularism, where we say that matters of religion, conscience and faith are very personal and everyone should have liberty in this regard. Whether you want to be an atheist or you want to be a believer, state shall not intervene into it. State shall have only one function, that it shall not discriminate. It shall not have its own religion, and it shall maintain equal distance from all the religion. Correct? But shall allow you to practice or not to practice whatever your belief system is there, we will allow you. Okay, beta? This is Indian secularism. So, whenever we talk the term secular, always think of two things in your mind, that how much religion is allowed, its space or intervention in state matters. So, whether it is Indian secularism or Western secularism, we keep a check on it. Policies shall not be directed with the perspective of religion or any faith. They shall not be directed. State shall not hinder them because it is matter of faith and we allow you freedom, Article 25 to 28, fundamental rights only. But state will not discriminate, state will not promote, state will not favor any of them. Okay? That is why the CA amendment of 2019 has attracted some criticism. I will use the word some only. Because till the time Supreme Court is not giving its final judgment, I am no one to give any verdict. There will be two sides always to any debate, and that is what we can easily see. Okay? So you as aspirants of UPSC always try to comprehend things, don't take sides immediately, try to understand, listen to the other group also and listen to this group also, and then in most of the cases present both the sides. That is our duty. And if you will say, sir, which side we should travel? On the side of the constitution, without any problem. That should be our side. Okay? Election Commission of India, in its code of conduct, in the last election only, has actually specified that on the basis of religion, if any candidate will be seen seeking votes, then will be disqualified. Caste bhi kar diya ab to. Now it is even caste. You cannot seek votes on these things. This is wrong. Okay? So fine friends, they were easy. If you want to write something, let's write in these, explain them in brief. Please write. In India, secularism means equal treatment of all religion, and Purna, that's right. In India, secular means thoroughgoing separation of religion and state. Thorough separation. I am not understanding what is the sentence you have given. Propagate and practice into all citizen Indian. Sanskritization opposed secularization. Disha Deepti, you are taking me totally to a different word. First of all, I will dictate. I will finish it, then I will go in Sanskritization, Westernization, that is different thing. Okay? Please write, first of all, these two things. Article 25 is for them also, no? If someone is politician, it does not mean that that person is not having the right to have his belief or his or her conscience. Freedom of conscience and belief is available to them also. Only thing is they should not divide. They should not be divisive in their election speeches. Not at all. How it can be promoted by the state? Maybe a trust. People? People can come out, can have it. Who is stopping you? These are known as citizens associations. बेटा ये जो टर्म रिलीजन है ना, साफ से ज़्यादा नहीं, इतना बहुत है. Try to comprehend. Otherwise, it is that he asked me that how it is happening. It is a trust, and trust can build anything. And if people want to come there and they consider it to be associated with their belief system, then even Supreme Court used Article 142. Otherwise, a suit of dispute in regard to title of land was not easy if it is history. It's very difficult. कैसे किसी को title देंगे आप? So suits of titles are very difficult if they have their roots in the history. So even Supreme Court said, fine, let us finish this off, and it cannot be repeated in any other case. Correct? बहुत दिन हो गए, it's enough, is enough. That was the idea. So please don't consider you are going to be officers. Don't consider it is victory of someone, defeat of someone. No, it is victory of humanity. Over and out. Let us finish the dispute. And no further dispute shall be actually allowed to surface. Okay? Anyway, so because masses can actually become even Nazis. So that is not the idea what is the opinion of public. We need to understand. Okay? Some people may come and they may create an emotional appeal. That's wrong. Because we go by our constitutional values. Anyway, please write the term socialist. Please write the term socialist. In Indian context can be explained. The term socialist in Indian context can be explained in terms of welfare socialism, that is where the idea is not of having the centralized control on resources, but of setting such an economic order, but of setting such an economic order where welfare can be pursued by promoting equity. Full stop. Continue. Vulnerable sections are provided with specialized interventions so that they can be brought in the mainstream and they can be provided with equality of status and opportunity. Full stop. Now put a star or put a note, N-O-T-E, note. It is important to comprehend, it is important to comprehend that after the advent of new economic policy, after the advent of means coming up of new economic policy with components of LPG, did not push the orientation of welfare out of priority list of government policies rather with the growth in economy and revenue, more programs have been possible directed towards welfare of people. Okay. Examples you can give from rural poverty alleviation programs to urban ones. Okay. Otherwise, when we were not having money, these were not possible. So, if any budget government is announcing that health insurance will be made available to the people even who are senior citizens, so government will have to pass some incentive to the insurance company. Otherwise, insurance company will not give from its pocket. Government only will have to give. Okay. So, when government can give, when it is having sufficient money, then only it can give. Otherwise, it would not have been possible. So, this will be 99% the orientation of the question if the term socialist will be touched. Okay. It has nothing to do with the earlier philosophies which we used to talk. It has nothing to do with it. It all depends upon your intentions. More money, more charity is possible. Think of it. And how the more money will come? More enterprise. When more production, more things will be there, then definitely you can have. On one side you can have infrastructure, on the other side you can actually pull out the people by giving them free coaching, free education, anything is possible. Everything is the function of resources. So when you have resources, you can use. ठीक है बेटा? गलत तो है नहीं, ढांचा यूज कर. Oh yes, oh yes. If someone says that with the growth of economy, we are going to have an increased number of people who will be falling under poverty line, wrong statement. स्पिल ओवर इफेक्ट हो जाता है बेटा इकोनॉमी में. ठीक है. यूएसए में गरीब आदमी मोटे हैं, क्यों? बर्गर खाते हैं, हैमबर्गर, ham and burger, और क्या खाते हैं? Beer, burgers. And who is giving them money? State, unemployment funds. That's why live-in concept is there. Till the time you remain individual, you get it as an individual. When you become a family, you get one. So that's why the concept of live-in surfaced there. 1980s, Ronald Reagan's time. It was more of economic. It has nothing to do with social and other things. Things are economic. Okay? अकेले अकेले रहेंगे if they will have their status as individuals. So they can actually have whatever dollars, 400, 300, 500, state wise it is different, right? It varies. In some states it can be even $650. So 650 plus 650 makes 1300. And if you show yourself as a married, you get 650 only. So half. So that's not there. Spillover of economy. So it will have a spillover effect also. But our government is itself planning. Our government is not blind towards the needs of the masses. And it has been any party, we have done something. We have always done something for poverty elevation. Whichsoever party has been in power, in India we have focused on it. Fine. So let's write something about secular now. Please write quickly. Not only Pari, I should also thank Shobha in helping me to help Pari and others. Let's proceed. The term secular in its basic connotation means meaning. In its basic connotation refers to the idea of keeping religion and associated institutions out of the state mechanism full stop. Next point. Secularism can be comprehended as a principle of state polity where state is not having any religion of its own and in the matters of public policies no religion is given preference over the other. Now, give the subheading Western's sense of secularism. Western sense of secularism. Right from the times of Reformation of Church, century in Europe, two important things happened: Renaissance and Reformation. What was the sentence? Right from the times of Reformation of Church, the idea continuing gaining strength that religion shall not be allowed unlimited control over the lives of people. During the times of French Revolution, the idea became concretized that the church need to be restricted from the state affairs. Full stop. Thus, Western secularism is based on the idea of a clear-cut separation of the state and church and having a policy mechanism wherein state management is exclusive of any idea of religion. Okay? Now let's understand it. In India, a government comes out with an order. Okay? Education department comes out with an order that hijab or whatever will not be permitted in educational institutions. Okay? Fine. Of course, we are referring to, and now I will refer to France. Same time. Let's say 2 years earlier, a state order prohibited wearing of any dress or any sign, any symbol that can be seen otherwise associated with a religion during office hours, either in private companies or in public duty. Okay? Nothing. You cannot wear. At one place, that is in Europe, though some opposition surfaced, but ultimately nothing happened. But in the other, the matter is going even to the courts of law. Are you understanding why the difference is there? Because in India, we recognize this freedom with the people in the FRs. While in France, they say, what is religion? What is its meaning? He will say, come on, Mr. President, you are not knowing religion. He says, because you are referring me as president. So I do not know. Till the time I am a state, I do not recognize the word religion. I type it in my system and the system says word not found. Whether in India the state system can say word not found. That is why here we will actually try to enter into these debates when we will be discussing fundamental rights through various doctrines like doctrine of essentiality, etc. Okay? Because in Indian context, yes, it will be a debate. Yes, it will be illegal. If you have prescribed a uniform, then it is different thing altogether. So then say from the perspective of uniform. Okay, and when you are allowing some people their rights, then in your uniform also you may be required to be considerate. Means debate chalti rahi. Debate will definitely be. You only have to come out with the idea of, is it somewhere preventing progress, it is preventing development. They will be more concrete ideas. Otherwise you cannot. Understanding? In France, anything you can stop. Why? Because they type the word religion and they say word not found. So when we hear that there have been some riots on the making of some cartoon and all, then state will say, bhai, I don't recognize. I am sorry, people have freedom. You at personal level may be recognizing. At the state level, nothing. At the state level, nothing. So they have a different orientation, but now they are also changing. Now the order there also is slightly changing. They also are becoming considerate. Okay. So got it? Take a para in Indian context. So this was Western secularism. Now write Indian secularism. Please write. Secularism in India can be comprehended in the light of following components of it. Number one, state is not having any religion of its own. Number two, state is seen maintaining equal distance. Is seen maintaining, state seen maintaining equal distance from all the religions. Distance means it is recognizing the term religion. By distance is from something that you recognize, na? Distance of Delhi from Mumbai. Mumbai is recognized. So distance of state from religion. Religion is recognized. Third component. State shall not discriminate in its policies on the grounds of religion. Next component. Constitution of India, fourth point. Constitution of India itself allows freedom in the matters of conscience. Know the spelling? Con plus science. Conscience. In the matters of conscience, comma, belief, faith, and religion. Next component, Constitution of India. Allow religious institutions to be established and to acquire property and manage the affairs by themselves. Now, take a para and write. In the light of the above, we can comprehend that secularism in India is more in positive sense based on the thesis of Sarva Dharma Sambhav. Based on the thesis of Sarva Dharma Sambhav. Fine, got it? So this is what they may ask you, and whether Ashoka can also be used. Okay, tell me how. So became Buddhist means he became theocrat. From where you will say? Like if I say Akbar, what word you will use associated with Akbar? That you can say that he also had the idea of religious tolerance. Sulehkul, that's what I am looking for. Very good, Rashi. And in Ashokan Dhamma Harshita, what you will actually talk? Yes, you said something. That is correct. What is written there? Yes, it is mentioned what? To the officers, a direction is there. Direction is there to the officers that do not discriminate on the basis of sect. That's right. Anyway, so Sulehkul term, the idea of rock addict may be asked at pre-level. Mains, no one will ask you. But who is associated with Sulehkul or what Sulehkul means can be asked, because it is associated with one of the core values of your constitution. Sulehkul. Suleh-e-kul. The kul term is from India only. That's, and this is Urdu. So in itself, you cannot say that this term is seen derived from Arabic or Persian. No, kul, kulapa, from ancient times. So use the words where you could have easily get connected Anyway, children, so now we take up the next one, and that is basic structure. Yes. Please ask. Two. How? First of all, it is not contradiction. Let me tell you. In civil matters, I am allowing you freedom of conscience. So, allowing you in matters of conscience, I am allowing you freedom. But civil matters means I am allowing you freedom of religion at conscience level, at personal level. Like, you can be of X religion, your spouse can be of Y religion, and your children may choose to be of another religion, still you may be a family. Okay? Now, think of such a complex situation. Now, how inheritance of property will be there? How other civil relations between you and your spouse, you and your children will be settled? So, please don't think that Uniform Civil Code is in contradiction with Article 25 first of all. Okay? In a naked eye assessment, we may start thinking like it. This is more of your ritualistic arrangements. These are not actual practices of religion. You started having some of the things in your social life as well. So, with Uniform Civil Code, sir, we are not connected with your religious life. We only will be trying to reform your social life, social relations. So, means at the level of society you enter. Are we getting it? Because Constitution is allowing freedom, but at individual level. शरिया, ठीक है, करेक्ट. सर, but I will not say anyone melapite, छोड़ देते हैं. I will only say one thing. For me, religion and society, social life are different. That's what. The religious matter of yourself and social matter. Social means your relation. Your relation with your spouse is not personal thing. It is not personal thing. It is a social thing. Family is a social unit. Okay? So, we only are trying to have uniformity in that, because that will help even in social mobility, and society will be better integrated then. Why social mobility is less in India at present? Because rights vary because of personal laws. So, a person of X or Y religion will not easily dare to move to another one, because the conditions of inheritance, the conditions of other things can change. So, don't you think with Uniform Civil Code we will have actually more mobility at the society level, because people will understand that having a family is a social function, not a religious function. So, it is absurd to say that a person belongs to that religion or that religion. So, no more Kerala stories will be there. After 40-50 years, this thing will subsidize. So, Indian secularism, यही तो आप, you are not understanding. I replied you and again I will reply you the same thing. Please understand. You are trying to say intervention. Intervention in what? In personal matters, no. In family matters, yes. Yes, that is a social thing. If it is against Article 14, if it is against Article 15, if you are trying to do any sort of discrimination under Article 17, I will immediately come, state will enter. And state entered at the time of Shahabano case also. Unfortunately, the parliament came out with an amendment. You should not be afraid of anything. It may be X, Y or Z. It is not attack on anyone's personal belief system. You continue believing. We only are concerned about social matters. But the projection unfortunately has happened as it is looking like that a majoritarian group is trying to regulate others. ये projection गलत है भाई. And it should not be used even by political parties like this. They should actually say it has nothing to do. You continue. Rather, we want to create such a beautiful system where social mobility will be easier. People will not be targeted on the basis of caste and all this. You keep hearing nowadays also, even I think 2 days back, honor killing was there. So very unfortunate. This is rubbish. This is rubbish. A person is not the property of anyone else. Why this is happening? Because of all these things. So with Uniform Civil Code, everyone will be actually brought. In personal matters, you are free. But in your relations matter, you will have to follow a law. Okay, beta. So that is why when you are talking of Uniform Civil Code and all, don't be defensive. क्या बुरी बात है? Rather, I am just telling you. Otherwise, we keep thinking, no, we should ask every group, every religious person. Arey, come on, I am not touching your religion at all. Actually, you have comprehended it wrong. So that is your problem. That is your problem. Because it is purely personal thing. A person at individual can be X, Y, Z. Family is this. This is generally we say now. Once Uniform Civil Code will come, this term will also dilute because a family may be having two, three religions being practiced in the same home. And that's not wrong. How does it matter? Okay, beta? G. So now we will go for basic structure. ठीक है, समझते हैं. See friends, when I say the term basic structure, then it looks like that someone is trying to provide us with Aadharbhut Sanrachana, basic structure that you cannot change it. On it you can have, this is the foundation. On it you may have a 3-story building, 5-story building, it's sufficiently strong. But if you will try to change it, that's not possible. Correct? So basic structure is what? Basic structure is sort of core foundation, foundational values. Okay, beta? That these cannot be varied, changed, abrogated. Clear? They cannot be varied. They will remain. Yes, building you may have of white color, blue color, red color, whatever. No worries. You can have glass windows, you may not have glass windows, you may have lot of woodwork. Who is worried? But core principles will not change. Got it? Okay? So it is like when any building is actually built up, there are some engineers who are known as structure engineers. They give the certificate of strength. Okay? So your basic structure is nothing but structure engineers, that they will only say that this particular amendment which you are making to the building is allowed or not, as this foundation will not be able to take it up. Right, sir? To understand it like this. Now, how it surfaced? अब कहानी है. Let's go to the story. Sanya Jain has asked what was the term associated with Ashoka. Ashoka was, we only talked, Sanya, that in one of the rock edicts, rather if you say it is mentioned in 8th, it is 13th. No. It is mentioned specifically, a direction is given to officers that you should not discriminate on the basis of sect. Okay? Because when your empire size will grow, so definitely you have to have such policies, otherwise regional unrest will be there. So it is a political philosophy also. Correct? Fine, let's be back on the basic stuff. The thing is, friends, in 1950, 26 January, our constitution came into force. That was adopted on 26 November 1949. Okay. Very soon, a case surfaced in front of Supreme Court. Okay. The case was from Madras, Champakam Durai Rajan versus State of Madras. The case was in regard that whether reservation, which earlier was there in the province of Madras, whether that can be allowed after 26 January of 1950. Okay, कहानी क्या है? That earlier it was there, it was not a new provision. In the province of Madras, reservation on the basis of caste group was allowed. ठीक है? अंग्रेजों के time में it was there, it was provided. But now the big question was that articles of FRs are not allowing. So Supreme Court said sorry, cannot be allowed. And now Parliament was in discussion that how we will carry out the functions of socio-economic reconstruction. Lot of people have been living as depressed classes, which we have included in the schedules now by declaring them under Article 341, any caste or group as a scheduled caste, or under Article 342 as a scheduled tribe. So the idea is of welfare. How we will continue that? That will be impossible. So they came out with an amendment. Okay? The amendment actually happened in Article 15 as well as Article 16. So in educational institutions and in public employment, people belonging or groups including in such castes which have been included in the two schedules, they can be provided with certain benefits. एक कहानी ये हो गई. Second story. In it only, one more important thing government or your parliament had to come up with. When they asked planning commission that how can we fight this type of extreme poverty, then planning commission said that it is not just the deprivation of resources, it is structural. How do we handle it? They said you need to change the titular structure. Okay, title of land. Okay, so who is having land? Some big zamindars, landlords, princes, they all are having big pieces of land. So, can we have a law? They said, sir, Article 30 will not allow you. 31. Article 31, which is right to property, will not allow you, because they will immediately go to courts of law. Okay. So, in 31 only, let us make an amendment. 31A and 31B. 31A is saying that any such law which will be taking the properties for the purpose of land reforms will not be considered as a violation of this part, okay, and will not go void. And then in 31B, that they will be included in a schedule that we call as 9th schedule. So in the original constitution, how many schedules were there? 8. 9th one is added now. 9th one is added. Okay? So understand the story. Okay, जैसे आपको कुछ movies की story याद रहती है ना, ये भी याद रहेगा. Don't worry about it. So they inserted. Now Shankari Prasad, a landlord, Bihar, reacted to it. क्या मजाक है? How is it possible? How can you take away the FR? Because 31 still remains. Remember it. 31 is there. Now two things are there. This is there and this is also there. Two things are there. So now the question is, when Article 31 is there, even the presence of Article 31A cannot actually deprive me of that right. Either you should have done away with Article 31, then you would have said, be okay. Now Supreme Court saw. Now the basic question was whether FRs can be amended. Okay, whether FRs can be amended. And Supreme Court here devised a doctrine of saying that Parliament is playing two roles. One as a general legislature and one as a constituent body. Parliament is having two functions. One as a legislative body to make laws on the list of subjects which are in list 1 and list 3rd, and second as a constituent body. Okay? And when it is acting as a constituent body, then it can definitely amend even the fundamental right, because the constituent body has given FR. Yes, it can change also. Clear? So Shankari Prasad lut gaye. In basic terms, now let's proceed ahead. Let's move ahead by around 16 years. In Punjab. Now Punjab government made a law and acquired the land of Golaknath, Henry Golaknath. आधा अंग्रेज है, okay? Henry Golaknath. So now the thing is, they were two brothers. Now the thing is, they again responded that Article 31 remains. How you can do it? And this time, Supreme Court came out with a different decision. I do not know whether it was the color of the skin that influenced or what. The judges of Supreme Court, that they changed the decision. शंकरी प्रसाद लुट गया और इसकी जमीन इसी के पास रहने दी. I am just trying to say, I am also surprised. Now Supreme Court came out with a new theory altogether. माही मंडल कमीशन बात की कहानी है बेटा, it's 1970s. That is later on. That's not here. At present, we are in 1950s and 60s and trying to understand something different. Okay. So, in Golaknath case, because Supreme Court was to reverse the previous one, okay, and they said they are of एक बड़ा ही जबरदस्त word ला है, transcendental nature, very powerful, because something that is transcendental means cannot be taken away, cannot be done away. So they said fundamental rights are of transcendental nature, constituent, all this rubbish, in FR you cannot change. Clear? So the order under which the land of Golaknath and their family was taken was declared ultra vires and land was restored to them. Okay? Against, which is not in consonance, उसे बोलते हैं जो किसी चीज के अगेंस्ट होता है. ठीक है? तो हाँ, समय बदल गया, सोच बदल गई, फिनिश. Logic, ma'am, logic is very clear. I am saying they are of transcendental nature, you cannot change over and out. This is the logic, I have given the logic now. He said it. Now, see how the story is building. First Amendment, Shankari Prasad. 17th Amendment, Golaknath. And then, now again, Parliament will react. 24th Amendment. And now, a case will move from where? From a mutt in Kerala. Kerala government will bring a law and the case will come to Supreme Court. Keshwanand Bharti, the most popular one. The most popular one that you hear. And now, once again, Supreme Court will reverse the previous stand. वो कैसे चेंज हो गया? ये तो बेच ली जमीन. Come on. They had the land and they sold it. Anyway, I am not making any comments against Supreme Court. We are just hearing the story. ठीक है? नुकसान दो ही लोगों का हुआ. One is Shankari Prasad and then it is Keshwanand Bharti. Golaknath को तो जमीन मिली है. When I know that Parliament can react, what will be my next step? I will sell the land and will not keep the money in Indian Bank also. London, London. Golaknath को कोई नुकसान नहीं. Anyway, leave it. I will only say they were having English blood in them. So, but anyway, ये फर्क है. This is where you will also see what is happening when you go in detail. Otherwise, if you just hear the names of cases, it only looks like that Supreme Court on one stand is saying this. But when you also hear, as I told you, then you think, sir, whether that fair and lovely concept was valid there also or it was limited here only. Anyway, ये मजाक में लिख मत देना. This is only to help you to understand. In Keshwanand Bharti, children, they said yes, you can amend the constitution. So when you are acting as a constituent body, you can amend the constitution and even the fundamental rights even the preamble, जो चाहे कर लो, no problem, no worries, entire thing. But always keep one thing in mind, you cannot alter the basic structure. So here the term basic structure surface. That constitution is based on certain values. You cannot take away such values by your amending powers under Article 360. So the constitutional values, or now you know constitutionalism values, which are cardinal values of a good governmental arrangement, they shall always be retained. Okay? This is Keshwanand. This is basics. Now you say, okay. Noted, sir, Golaknath got lucky that time. Yes, 100% Sumit. 100%. At that time also the prices was in millions. हाँ जी पूरा पलट गया. Transcendental, that these are of transcendental nature, you cannot change them. That is what they say. Okay? अभी बता पहले कहानी हो जाए ना. Because if I will take them in article, you may get confused. क्योंकि language की बात आएगी. Any law and constituent body. Once you will have the story, then you will have some understanding. Okay, this we have to write only now in formal terms. Okay, informal बहुत जरूरी है पहले. First of all informal and then formal. Fine. So now government again reacted. Parliament reacted again, and mind it, now it is Indira Gandhi. So came 42nd amendment, which even took away the powers of judicial review. कर ही नहीं सकते, छोड़ो बातें. And it is in the constitution, and Supreme Court also is bound by the constitution. And then Supreme Court reacted in Minerva Mills in 1980, saying you cannot take away judicial review because it is basic structure. It is basic structure. Okay. So they now are reacting to, why 42nd amendment first of all? Why 42nd amendment? To somewhere actually overcome the directions, the directives which Supreme Court has come out in its decision related to Keshwanand Bharti. That is why you came up with. Prior to it, one more case I can give you. Indira Gandhi Nehru case, or Indira Nehru Gandhi case. 39th amendment. Indira ji थी. एक amendment किया that if it is the election of Prime Minister or Speaker, it is beyond the scope of any sort of jurisdiction of any courts of law. 39th amendment. Okay, this is 39th amendment. And in this, then again Supreme Court said, sorry, we definitely can enter into any matter, and the election of Prime Minister and of Speaker are not beyond that. Now the Prime Minister think ये ज़्यादा हो रहा है. So they came out with 42nd amendment. Okay, and that was reversed in Minerva Mills. And remember, when Minerva Mills is happening, Janata Party has gone, and once again Indira ji is on seat here. 1980. Okay, ठीक है, once again she is on seat. And now what happens, the government is planning to put more and more laws in 9th schedule. And then happens in 1981 Vaman Rao case, where Supreme Court said, please don't do this much exercise. Any sort of freedom to your 9th schedule is till the time of judgment of Keshwanand Bharti. Any inclusion later definitely can fall under judicial review. Okay? So this is something of basic structure that you can comprehend. And as one of my friend wrote there the term Mandal Commission. So in that case we will be talking about Indira Sahani case of 1990s. But in basic structure these are the most significant. So let's write something about it. And here, before I proceed, as he asked, sir, will you please help us in understanding Article 13? Yes, let me tell you. In FRs, beta, when we enter into fundamental rights, in Article 12, first of all, they give the definition of state. They give the definition of state, that what will be a state. So for a prelims type question, even this can be a question that whether a court of law will be seen as a state under the definition of Article 12. Anyone who is aware, who has gone through? Okay, no worries. I just asked a question. I have not told you the definition yet. I am just saying that whether a court of law will also be seen included within the definition of a state as per part 3. No. ठीक है, अब मैं definition दिखा देता हूँ, फिर आप आंसर दीजिए. Again I will ask you the same question, but in a different format. Of course I will change the format. See children, Article 12, I will repeat it when I will be doing FR, don't worry. But here, for the purpose of understanding basic structure, we need to know Article 13. That's why I am giving it. Here it is saying the definition. What is definition? Of whose definition? First of all, definition of state. Okay? Definition of state. And here it is saying that at union level, what will be seen as a state? Legislature plus executive, and all the bodies which are established under that. And at state level, same thing. ठीक है, जुडिशरी लिखा आया कहीं पे, आसान हो गया समझना. That till the time we are seeing strictly in this sense, then court of law will not fall in the definition of. थोड़ा टेक्निकल बता देता हूं क्यों नहीं लिखा. Article 32, it is the Supreme Court only, that is the court of law only, which is seen providing you constitutional remedies. Under Article 32, it is the Supreme Court which is seen providing you relief if the state, means either them or them, they are doing anything which is encroaching your rights. Okay? So that is why court is seen as the protector, not as the agency that can encroach upon any of your rights. That is why they have not included. Clear? In detail when we go, then we say juridical functions. Juridical functions. Technical तो नहीं हो रहा है ज़्यादा, समझ में आ रहा है ना? Means where you are doing the function of adjudication, Juridical, juridical, till the time a court of law is discharging juridical function, it will not be seen as a state. But when it is discharging administrative function, then it can be seen as a state. समझ लेते हैं इस बात को भी. एक एम्प्लॉई है कोर्ट में. There is a person who is an employee in a court of law. Let's say he is sub registrar or a clerk to the registrar. ठीक है. रजिस्ट्रार साहब उसको निकाल देते हैं. आउट, गेट आउट, whims and fancies, fired. Now the question is whether that person can actually move to court of law for his rights or her rights. Are you getting my point? So here, yes. So in case of administrative functioning, even the court of law can be seen as a state, but not when it is discharging its functions as juridical institution. मुश्किल हो रहा है तो कोई बात नहीं, बाद में समझ लेंगे, दोबारा समझेंगे. Juridical, juridical, बोलिए. हाँ, correct, good. So juridical example is child, like any case has beta gone there and they are giving the judgment, so that is juridical function. Administrative नहीं है ना बेटा वो. You have taken the case there, so on that case they are giving their judgment, juridical function. But when in their own body they are discharging functions, so whether at that time also they will have that protection? No. Otherwise employees of courts will actually be living a very miserable life. So for that reason, okay. Anyway, for technical purposes, courts are not, because UPSC at pre-level, if they do this fine distinction, now you know it. But otherwise, if they beta just write whether courts of law will be here or not, you will say no. Now, whether CAT will be seen as a state, Central Administrative Tribunal, CAT is a tribunal, and tribunal remains an administrative body only. So it will be yes. Exemption is only to courts of law. Correct? Exemption only is to courts of law. So whether it is at district level, whether it is at high court level, whether it is Supreme Court level, all of them, they are not. Any other institution which is not in strict definition a court of law, like consumer court, the name is court, consumer court, whether it will fall in the definition of a state? Yes, because it is more of a tribunal nature. Okay. You have someone in judiciary, your answers are correct? You? Yes? No, because otherwise you so quickly reacted to consumer court. अच्छा, good, good, ठीक है. But you are right. ग्राम न्यायालय, ग्राम न्यायालय, अब तो न्यायालय लगा दिया मैंने हिंदी में. Previously it was in English. Now I am testing you. It is not Gram Panchayat, it is Gram Nyayalaya Act 2008. That also is a sort of accelerating process. ठीक है. लोक अदालत ऐसे यूपीएससी पूछेगी, इसलिए मैं अभी परेशान कर लेता हूँ. हाँ, नहीं है. नो, नहीं, बोल लो. इमोशनल स्टेटमेंट शुड बी एक्सप्रेस्ड. हाँ, क्या बोल रही हैं आप? क्या होता है डिस्ट्रिक्ट में? तो लोक अदालत तो बेटा ऑर्गेनाइज की जाती है ना बाय एन एनजीओ, दैट विल बी देयर एंड ऑल दैट. अ जुडिशियल ऑफिसर विल बी प्रेजेंट. but it is not a court in a strict sense. These are facilitating arrangements. Okay, so will not be seen. This question is possible, and it is a difficult question, honestly, I am telling you. So only Supreme Court, High Court, and the courts mentioned in part 6, that is district courts, they are beyond it. Rest all can be, because they are not courts in strict sense. Okay? See, those who are online also, do not worry. These things we will discuss once again when we will be touching judiciary and FRs. It is just the beginning. Now from it, I come to Article 13. इसके चक्कर में ये बताना पड़ा है. See, Article 13 is now giving clarity, saying that, see, state, पहले ही मालूम पड़ गया किसकी बात हो रही है. If they are saying state, if a state is coming out with any law, order, bylaw, rule, it will go void if it is inconsistent with the provisions of part 13. Okay? Any law, any order, any bylaw, any rule that the state is coming up with, and if it is inconsistent, with the provisions of part 3, that is fundamental rights, it will go void. ठीक है? इसीलिए वो झगड़ा हो रहा. That is where Shankari Prasad case, that is where all these cases are done. Yes, Article 13 is protecting FR and clearly saying whose decisions will be in question. So decisions of the state will be in question. Okay? So whether ordinance will also fall in it? Yes, that is by a state. Ordinance is nothing but a law. Got it? So this is what we were actually understanding. So that is Article 13. So here the term is any law. Then later on we have said that any law will not include the amendments made through Article 368. The term any law will not include the amendment made through Article 368. Okay? अब notes बना लेते. Let's write something about it. I know the discussion has actually moved up. चेहरे से बेटा दिखाई पड़ गया. Interesting. समझ में आया? Okay, that's good. No, I am happy. I am happy. But honestly, but complex था. अभी लिख कर नोट से क्लियर हो जाएगा. अभी complex था. It was complex. Why? At present, I only expected कि आपने कुछ words पकड़े हों. What? Sumit is also saying little. Harshita is saying yes sir, understanding. Very good. Anyway, what I expect till here is that you have actually a word with you, basic structure, the concept of any law, the words like transcendental, okay, these are sufficient for me, and the definition of a state. Because that I have actually done almost in detail, so that you can handle your prelims type questions. Mains, you will have sufficient, because copy is yours, pen is yours, you can write, and you can there differentiate that juridical functions will not fall, of course, but administrative functions will fall. वहाँ दे सकते हो. But in pre, you don't have chance till the time they specifically are not asking it. And remember it, administrative functions are related to appointments, transfers, all these. Okay? So collegium function is juridical function or administrative function? Shobha Meena, Veer Bhadra, you both are right. It is administrative. अभी तो कहा ना सर मैंने, अपॉइंटमेंट, सिलेक्शन, ये सब एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव है. That is the function of collegium. चलिए. He is right. We will definitely start writing basic structure, whatever may be the time. We will not complete it, but we will start. That is our determination. देखिए basic heading डालिए. Thesis of basic structure और doctrine of basic structure, जो चाहे नाम दे दीजिए, same. देखिए, this doctrine is said to have surfaced in the judgments of Supreme Court and its evolution also is seen associated with the judgments of the apex court only. Apex माने शीर्ष स्तंभ, that is Supreme Court. सर्वोच्च. Nothing is ultimate in the. Okay. In this context, it is the highest level. Please write. Next point, basic structure, doctrine, in its basic essence will mean oblique refer to such values and principles which are considered of cardinal importance and which cannot be altered or taken away by any sort of amendment or orders of the state. Next point, doctrine of basic structure. Third point beta we are writing, doctrine of basic structure highlights the supremacy of Constitution and its cardinal values in place of supremacy of the parliament. इसीलिए झगड़ा ही चला है बेटा, पार्लियामेंट अगेन एंड अगेन मेकिंग अमेंडमेंट्स and Supreme Court again and again coming. So ultimately in Minerva Mills, Supreme Court told in one way to the Prime Minister that, madam, please don't try. We will not allow. As your parliament are having their place of importance, so we are having. And we all are required to follow only one thing, that is the cardinal values of the Constitution and the Constitution. We are bound by that. So you cannot change the wordings, articles or clauses of the Constitution just to limit our parts or to do anything which will ultimately be against the cardinal values of the Constitution. ठीक है, एक तरह का झगड़ा सेटल किया उन्होंने, कहा बहुत हो गया ये, it is enough. We both have powers. You both have. You come out with an amendment and we then say it is ultra vires. Then you say it is written in the Constitution, we say this very amendment of the Constitution is wrong. We are not questioning your amending powers. We are only questioning that to what extent, to what degree you can alter the Constitution. Yes, you can change even the entire Constitution, but not its cardinal values. That is basic. Got it, children? So tomorrow we will write all these cases and then we will start with preamble. Once we finish it, so then we will start with preamble. Okay? So do you also provide notes in PDF form in portal? Who was this? Who was this? Kindly show me, kindly show me. Mahir Anka, I will only request you, kindly be attentive, सोइए मत. अगर आंख नहीं खुलती है तो कॉफी पी के बैठिए, लिखिए नोट साथ साथ. That is why I am dictating, otherwise why should I take those many pains? PDF तो सबसे आसान होता है. Why I am dictating is so that they remain dynamic. Even if some judgment is taken today, I can include in your notes tomorrow. Okay? I refer to the questions. When I come to the class, I refer to the questions. I refer to the judgments. Okay? I see what UPSC is asking. If I would have been sitting with students of law, my orientation would have been different. So it is purely highly purposive for your purpose only, UPSC. Okay? So please write notes. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. God bless you.